What's up, people? Winko here, your favorite Hawaiian guy, and I just want to let you guys all know that I fucking hate this Walmart, and I don't think anyone should shop here at all because some really stupid people work at this Walmart. Just take my word from it. This is a Walmart in Jacksonville, Florida. I'll have the link to it in the pinned comments. The address to it in the pinned comments. Just letting all of you know, do not shop at this Walmart, okay? That's it, okay. Peace out, people.
On the internet, there are many weirdos and nobodies with egos the size of supernovas, but nobody really takes the cake as Winko does. Winko is defined by many things: his obsession, his art, his costumes, but Winko does describe himself as a gay diabetic YouTuber Florida man. I hope you guys do enjoy the video, and let's get into this. Who is Winko? Winko is a native Hawaiian orphan who resides with his adopted parents in the Midwest regions of the United States. It is mentioned numerous times in his Winko Talks videos, as well as his Winko horror films, that he has resided in the Dominican Republic in the past, although he did not originate from there. Claims to have a mild form of autism which greatly distorts his method of thinking and perception of life, which also gives him the ability and creativity of which he puts into his videos. He is supported greatly by the comments his fans give him. Winko's YouTube channel is also dedicated to his uncle, Romario, who passed away from brain cancer in 2012. Winko's recognizable costume and equally expansive yet unknown internet presence is as bizarre as he is. He has actively described his love for the macabre and the weird, and his fanatic love for Ed, Edd and Eddy that has inspired his eccentric character. His orphanhood was quelled by his loving uncle Romario. Winko, however, actively despised his biological father and half-brother, which he represented them as demons and villains. Winko's had a deviant art account, and most of his art is based on horror films, based on avant-garde photoshops he has made. Would go on and he would make videos of him playing horror games and The Sims. He would make a lot of videos on The Sims, and it's clear throughout the research that really loves the low polygon style of the early 2000s. Would also go on and become a filmmaker, pumped out many other no-budget passion projects. Obsession with horror is only outmatched by his love of Ed, Edd and Eddy. He had created an OC insert in the Ed, Edd and Eddy world, and he shipped himself with Ed. Does fear death. That's why he did Operation Winkle Forever. He believes that whenever someone dies, they get reincarnated into The Sims as a character. Decided to increase his odds of eternal life by implanting mods of himself into every single Sims game he can, so he has a better chance of being reincarnated. Decided in his great wisdom to document all the oddball characters of his exponential escapades from his Ed, Edd and Eddy OC to missing cases that he documented on his channel. So Winko also made himself kind of a wiki, like I said before, and on this wiki, put a subsection for Daddy AJ. And Daddy AJ was a part of this site called Black Men's Reign. Apparently it was a site where black men were particularly admired by non-black men. In March of 2019, Winko signed up for the site because he was looking for a lover/partner, and also because he was part black himself. Admittedly, was using the site to promote his YouTube channel too. Every day, would post pictures of himself on the site with the purpose of attracting a lover/partner. Eventually, however, Daddy AJ was aware of this and got very annoyed with Joe's posts for some reason. At first, he tried to discourage but eventually he kicked off the site in August of 2019 due to the fact that Daddy AJ didn't think was cool enough to have a lover/partner. After many attempts to re-sign up, Daddy AJ eventually let back onto the site. In April of 2020, still has not found a partner. on this site. Instead, Joe started saying that he was looking for another black man to be his partner and lover instead. For some odd reason, this infuriated Daddy AJ, and he kicked Joe off the site permanently. I will say that Joe is actually very active on the Kiwi Farms on his very own subreddit. He has actually let a lot of people into his life and posted a lot of pictures of him going to celebrities' graves, like XXXTentacion's grave in Florida. He also let a lot of people into things that he hates. So he's just been all around just kind of very helpful in documenting him. The latest Joe Winko lore is that on February 13th, he wanted this guy deported back to Europe. And the reason why he wanted this guy deported back to Europe is because of this. Quote unquote, Joe said, "If you guys seriously want to know what he did, he messaged me a couple weeks ago telling me that he was quote unquote in love with me and shit like that. He lives down in Fort Lauderdale. He was calling my phone the whole entire day and talking to me over and over again. And I told him to send me a train ticket down to Fort Lauderdale so I can come and visit him." Which is exactly what he did. But then later on that day, out of nowhere, he straight up canceled/refunded the train ticket and told me he didn't want me coming down to visit him. This was literally out of nowhere. I was so fucking pissed off by that. I obviously had wrote him into the death curse book, but I honestly believe it was just a trick he was pulling just to get on my nerves. But you don't fucking do that. On March 2nd, OP of the Joe Winko's post said that the situation was getting weirder, and it was about Joe talking about how he was in a relationship with a person who committed suicide back in 2010, and then saying that they are together. It comes full circle back to Ed, Edd and Eddy, and Joe went on and said that he and this dead guy, the ghost of the dead guy, was watching an episode of Ed, Edd and Eddy together. But this relationship that Joe had conjured up got some ridicule from some online trolls. Well, more of like some concerned people. One user said, "Is this real or a meme?" Which would cause Joe to start crashing out. "It is not fake. He is absolutely real. I never joke about this stuff in my life. Why on earth would I make fun of a guy who is going through the same stuff as me and who had died? There is nothing funny about this picture, and it's not a fucking meme." He would go into his private messages with some of the Kiwi Farms members, and he would be kind of yelling, saying, "How would anyone think that this is, fake? How dare they? That the dead guy was everything that Joe wanted in life, that he respects Joe." And Joe just kept kind of, not crash out, but he was kind of seething online to these people. But that is all the Joe updates that we have so far, and I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next video.